Just like with ellipses, we might have to complete the square before we're able to draw the graph of a hyperbola. So this one has a little bit foiled out. I'm going to gather up all my x terms and my y terms and move that constant term over to the right. So I'm going to have my 4x squared plus 8x minus 9y squared. And then I'm going to subtract that 40. So I have all the number stuff over on the right, so negative 40. All right, so remember that we can't complete the square if we have that coefficient on the x squared. So I'm going to factor out the 4. So I get 4x squared plus 2x, and then that's where I'm going to put my magic number. Thankfully, I don't need to complete the square on the y because there's no y term. There's just that y squared. So that one's just going to hang out while I complete the square on the x stuff. Then I've got negative 40 over on the right, and we're going to compensate with whatever we do in the parentheses. All right, so we need our magic number. So I'm going to take the coefficient of my x, that 2. So let's go off to the side here. And we do b over 2 squared. That gives me 1 squared. So 1 is my magic number. So we add 1 inside the parentheses. I'm going to go compensate for that on the right. But remember, I didn't actually just add a 1. That 1 is being acted on by the 4 that's outside the parentheses. So I'm going to remember that that's actually a 4 that I've added, not a 1. So on the right, we're going to add a 4. All right, so let's see what we have left. I've got the 4 hanging out front. I can factor x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's going to give me x plus 1 squared. 9y squared is just kind of hanging out over here. And on the right, I get a negative 36. All right, then I need to divide everybody by negative 36. And then just reduce all of those fractions. So the 4 and the negative 36 are going to reduce to a negative 9 down in the bottom. So this time my x term is negative. And then the negative 9 and negative 36 will make a positive for the y term and will reduce to a 4 down in the bottom. Then of course we have our 1 over on the right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look for our graph. So my center, I'm going to change the sign on the x coordinate. I get negative 1. That y squared, you can think of that as a y minus 0 squared. This is going to be a negative 1 comma 0. So I'm going to go mark that center on my x-axis, negative 1 comma 0. And then we'll build our box. So we have 9, which is 3 squared, and 4, which is 2 squared. So I'm going to go 3 tick marks in the x direction and 2 tick marks in the y direction for my box. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3. And then from the center, I'm going to go up 2 and down 2. So up 1, 2, down 1, 2, and just draw our dotted line box. All right, now that I have the box, we're going to build our asymptotes. So I'm going to draw my diagonals going through the corners of the box and make sure we go through the center with it. All right, so we've done the bulk of the work here. Now we just need to draw our hyperbola. Remember that this time the y squared term is the positive one. So this one's going to open upwards and downwards in the y direction. So we're going to start off at our center, go up to the box. So our vertices of our hyperbola are going to be right above and below the center attached to the box. And then we're just going to open up those hyperbola arms above and below the box. Again, the main thing I'm going to be picky about here is getting the center, the box, and the asymptotes in the right place. Of course, you do have to graph a hyperbola shape in order to get full credit for the problem. The last thing we want to do is to be able to find the equation of the hyperbola from looking at the graph. So anytime I'm going to give you one of these problems, I'm going to draw the box and the asymptotes for you. These problems are too difficult to do without that. All right, so let's start off. We know we need to know our center. So I'm going to say my center. I'm identifying that at, let's see, that's negative 5 comma 0. Then we need to figure out our A and B values. So remember that the A value is how much we go in the X direction for the red box. So that's going to be right here. So this tells me that A is equal to 2. Our B distance is going to be from the center up or the center down. And that looks like B is going to be equal to 4 tick marks. All right, and this is all we really need to be able to build our hyperbola. So we know we're going to have an x plus 5 squared term to give my center at a negative 5x coordinate. I'm going to have a y minus 0 squared. So we can just write that as y squared. Let's put our numbers in the denominators. So the x plus 5 term is going to be over 2 squared, which is 4. The y squared is going to be over 4 squared, or 16. We know this, all of this is going to be equal to 1. And then I need to make one of those terms positive and one of them negative. So this hyperbola is opening up towards the x direction. So my x squared term should be positive, which means I need subtraction in the middle on my y squared term. And that's all there is to it. All right, that's it for hyperbolas, and we'll be moving on to chapter 11 next time I see you.